A world in turmoil. Possible solutions. Only one question. Feasible or not feasible?
So, how do cars work, and how do they produce CO2? And how do cars such as the Triumph Spitfire move from point A to point B? The majority of cars on the road of Britain today use an internal combustion engine, and almost all of these currently use what is called a 4-stroke combustion cycle to convert gasoline into motion. As you may have guessed, there are indeed 4 operations to be carried out to allow the conversion to take place, and these are as follows. Step 1. The piston starts at the top, the intake valve opens and the piston moves down to let the engine take a cylinder full mixture of air and gas. This is called the intake stroke. Step 2. The piston moves back up to compress the fuel/air mixture, as compression allows the explosion to become more powerful. Step 3. When the piston reaches the top of its stroke, the spark plug emits a spark to ignite the gasoline. The gasoline charge in the cylinder explodes, driving the piston down. Step 4. Once the piston hits the bottom of its stroke, the exhaust valve opens and the gas mixture leaves the cylinder to escape through the gas pipe. When step 3 occurs, an incredible amount of energy is produced, and since this 4-step cycle is carried out hundreds of times per minute, enough energy is released to move a car from point A to point B. So, where is the CO2 produced during this cycle? When the gasoline is ignited in step 3, the elements within it, i.e. carbon and hydrogen, separate. Then each free carbon molecule bonds with 2 oxygen molecules within the atmosphere. Once the CO2 is formed, it is then forced into the exhaust system of the car in step 4. It then passes through a catalytic converter, which is an essential component for reducing greenhouse gases. From there, the CO2 travels through the muffler system of the car and expelled into the atmosphere. Electric cars are a feasible option to replace petrol engine cars in the UK. Well, we are going to look at both the advantages and disadvantages of owning an electric car, and then Noel will present us with the overall answer at the end of the show. Advantage 1. As the car is run on electricity, no emissions will be produced, and the engine will also run a lot quieter. So Noel, what do you think about that?
Welcome to Feasible or Not Feasible. I'm your host, Noel Edmonds. First of all, we've got to see what you have in the box.
Disadvantage 1. The upfront charge for an electric car is very expensive compared to petrol and diesel engines, with the cheapest electric car in the UK being priced at £8,500. Consequently, second-hand electric cars are not much cheaper. What do you think of that, Noel? Feasible or not feasible?
Not feasible.
Advantage 2. The maintenance for electric cars costs a lot less, as there are far less moving parts within an electric car, meaning there is less that can go wrong. So now, is it feasible or not feasible?
Feasible!
Disadvantage 2. The average electric car in the UK has a top speed of 50 to 55 miles per hour, a lot lower than the top speed limit in the UK currently at 70 miles per hour.
What is this doing?
Feasible or not feasible?
Not feasible.
Advantage 3. Electric vehicles are exempt from road tax.
Yes, the both worlds. Chilling out, take it slow, then you rock out the show. You get the best of both worlds. Mix it all together, and you know that you're the best of both worlds.
So now, feasible or not feasible?
Feasible.
Disadvantage 3. The top range for electric car is just over 100 miles. The average full recharging time is upwards of 7 to 8 hours, which is a lot longer than filling your car up with petrol. Feasible or not feasible?
Not feasible.
Advantage 4. Electricity costs a lot less than petrol, so over the year you will spend a lot less money charging a car and topping up with the ever increasing price of petrol.
Got to go next week, and he was like, oh, I'm going down to the pub. Oh, okay, no problem. And I was like, okay, see you later. Right, bye. Oh, sorry.
Feasible or not feasible?
Feasible.
Disadvantage 4. Batteries can only handle so much recharging before they break, which can be both expensive and environmentally unfriendly due to the handful of chemicals within them.
Not feasible.
As electric cars have a very limited range, many travellers will have to recharge the batteries whilst making a journey. This will cause a major delay within their journey. However, this is not the major problem. According to the website chargingstation.co.uk, there are in fact very little stations currently outside of London to recharge their batteries with. In the 30,414 square miles of Scotland, only 7 exist, and 3 of these are situated in Glasgow alone. This will force drivers into only making 50-mile trips if they wish to return home. Also, in difficult financial times such as this, where the average wage for a worker in the UK is around £20,000, it is just not feasible for them to be able to spend near half that amount in a brand new electric car. Even the most eco-friendly people in Britain would opt for the cheaper second-hand petrol or diesel engine car. The biggest factor, however, has to be the source the electricity comes from. If the electricity comes from plants that use fossil fuels to power them, then they are not solving any problem. They'll produce slightly less emissions than petrol and diesel engine cars, however they are still producing them. For them to be totally 100% emission free, then they'd have to run on renewable power, with just under 10% of the energy used in Britain renewable. This is a massive problem, and one that cannot allow electric cars to be feasible within the UK.
The final verdict is not feasible. I've been Noel Edmonds, thanks for watching. See you all soon.